I know the leagues. I know the teams. I know these players. I know this wonderful game called football.
Welcome to the Money Line, hosted by Pro Football Debate. I'm Drake. That's Brian. This NFL season, we'll be posting weekly videos talking NFL from a betting perspective. We'll explain our mindsets when it comes to handicapping games and what has worked for us over the last few years. We wanted to have an introductory episode to introduce ourselves and get a little background before we head into the NFL season. Brian, why don't you introduce yourself? Say what's up to everybody.
Yeah, what's going on? First thing right out of the gate, just want to give a huge shout out to Bet Openly, the official sports book of the Money Line, one of the only peer-to-peer sites out there where you can get 1% juice. So again, I'm Brian. As far as kind of bringing up how I got into the sports betting world, Drake's, I think me and you are pretty similar there. For me, it started off with ESPN and the World Series of Poker, probably my teens, and it seems like there was a lot of action to go around for some 14, 15, 16-year-olds, but I think that's pretty much what kicked it off for me.
Chris Moneymaker days for sure.
Oh, yeah. But no, I pretty much that led into obviously maybe exchanging some money with just taking some sides and whatnot. I know I did the parlay cards too, kind of in my teens, so I was introduced to the spreads and the totals. If you know what the parlay cards are, I'm going to kind of date myself a little bit here, but basically, all the games are listed there, college and NFL for the weekend, $5, $10, $20, whatever you want to do, and then basically just pick how many games you want to. I don't even know if the odds were right, but you just hope you hit a few, get paid out. But after that, it was pretty much into the office pools, sticking with the parlay cards there, and then just, kind of escalating into horses, escalating into hockey, escalating into MLB, and pretty much anything that I felt like I can somewhat get an edge at that time, or at least what I thought was an edge.
Sure. That's awesome. No, similar story for me. Poker, betting on golf, video games, outdoor hockey, outdoor basketball, you name it. I would say I really got into sports betting around 2018 when the Caps won the Cup. Ovechkin was soaring almost every game. Carried those winnings through like that season of baseball into some football. Ended up kind of middle of the season of NFL losing all the profits I had made. Just got absolutely torched. Wasn't fun. I took some time off and then took a break during the holidays. Still watch all the sports no matter what that I would bet on normally. NFL, college football, NHL, college basketball, which is by far my favorite sport to bet on. Brian, I think you and I kind of, I want to say reconnected, but definitely got closer around that time. And you had mentioned Clemson as a dog against Alabama in the national title game. That's when I officially kind of hopped back into sports betting.
Big night.
Yeah, that night I put my handful of plays in like I normally do, and also a lottery ticket parlay. It was a 12-leg NCAA basketball total parlay. Kind of forgot I had put it in. Checked my phone around midnight and noticed I had a good balance in my account of over $30,000. Went on the computer, looked at my phone, went game by game to make sure that it was indeed correct, and it was. And then it became, monopoly money that was sitting in an account I couldn't access fast enough. Unfortunately, I learned a lot of tough lessons along the way, some expensive ones at that, which forced me over the next weeks, months to really understand the industry a little more, start reading some books. I became super fascinated with the analytics side of it, started building a few models to help me. My background is predominantly in data and analytics, so I was able to put some stuff together with some resources I found online and through some social media people. Had a really good run 2019 through March Madness, and then kind of took a step back the rest of 2019. And then you and I kind of touched base and said, 2020, let's give Circa Millions a try, see what we're made of, so to speak. I know that people say that some contests, not necessarily a joke, that might be too harsh of a word, but not an indicator of a successful sports bettor. And we feel as though this is going to be our fourth year in the contest. We've improved our percentage year over year, and anything over 53% at minus 110 or a Bet Openly plus 100, you're making money. So if you're consistently 53+%, you're making money and finding a way to provide entertainment for yourself. I think it's Billy Walters. He was on a show recently and he said a good NFL season for him would be 57, 58%. And we're right there with them. So going back to our Circa kind of journey, 2020 was definitely a rough go for us. we got burnt a few times by locking our picks early. We use a proxy out in Vegas. So if we lock a Thursday game, all picks have to be in by then. And there were a few times where we got pretty bad negative closing line value on certain teams, in which case the quarterback tested positive and had to sit out. I think there was a Denver game where a cornerback started playing quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun. Needless to say, we didn't have a great year that inaugural season for us. I think we ended up being around 52, 53%. 2021, we made some hard, fast rules that kind of guided us a little bit more, and we dug a little deeper into some analytics. We finished that year around 57, 58%. Then 2022, we found some magic. We didn't have magic initially, I guess. We started the first week 0-5. And Brian and I, we said going into it, we're not prideful. We're about making money. And the way that we found we can make money is to tank, so to speak, for the booby prize. That next week we went 1-4, and we went 9-1 the last 2 weeks of that quarter to take home the booby prize, finishing 2-18 or 18-2, as we like to say. Those next 9-10 weeks, like we were right in the mix. I mean, we were top 5, top 10, top 15 that entire time for what we were trying to accomplish. I think we had a rough week 1 of that final quarter, week 14 or 15, whatever it was. We went 4-1 or 5-0 the wrong way, and then we again pivoted our strategy, and we ended up finishing a game out of that quarterly prize. All in all, documenting our picks, we finished around 62.5, 63% ATS. So a heck of a ride. We were featured on VSiN's football contest show with Brady Cannon and Mike Pritchard twice. Once after we won the first quarter prize, then later in the year when we had been one of the more consistent entries during the entire season. So really looking forward to this season. Brian, I'll kick it over to you. I mean, anything that you want to call out for anyone that's maybe getting into the betting world, and particularly NFL?
Yeah, a couple things I'll just touching on Circa is, we were picking the right plays and just put them on our cart separate. If you go back to our interviews on the football contest show, we talked to Brady and Mike, and even, Brady was talking about when he made his pivot. We just figured we had a leg up. We were just going to try for that full season going this year. If you're a contest player, it's pretty much, I think, quarter by quarter. We're not prideful like Drake said. We're there for money. Hitting last year was great. We want to obviously make as much money as we can. That's the goal. So when we do the contest, that's kind of our mindset. Just throwing it out there if anybody does. I know a lot of the major sports books are starting to kind of do that. You have the Super Contest, a big one out in Vegas. Obviously Circa, which we're in. So a lot going on there, but pretty much my thing that I want to touch on is what we're here for. We're going to touch on we're going to touch on Survivor. We're going to touch on totals. You're going to see us pick sides. We're obviously going to cover spreads. We're not here to kind of give you a zillion plays that I need you to just go into your, whatever sports book you're using and just start running down and clicking buttons. We are going to run through every game because we want you guys to see maybe an angle that you didn't see. We always use the saying, fade or tail as you see fit. All right. We believe in our capabilities, but if you feel strongly about a different thing or you're seeing something different, feel free to go. I don't want anybody just blindly tailing. That's how you definitely get into a little bit of trouble. It's never a good recipe.
One thing I want to say, Brian, real quick is just, last year when we had a good season, we were giving our picks to friends and family, and, we'd go 3-2 or 4-1 in our picks. We'd be profitable. And then, we'd get the text inevitably from somebody that parlayed our picks and saying, I lost money this week. What were you guys doing? So that's another thing I just wanted to.
A tale as old as time. Yeah, no. So all our plays that we give out, unless specified, are going to be 1-unit plays. If you don't know what a unit is, it's going to be roughly 1% of your bankroll. So set that now. We're still, a few days out from the opening game. Please set that now. Please be responsible. If you feel like there's problem kind of stirring, problem kind of brewing, we urge you to get help. There's a ton of resources out there. But the main thing is we're here. We should keep this fun. We're trying to make, Mondays, Sundays, and Thursdays, and, Saturdays in a couple months, a little more interesting, a little more fun. But we shouldn't be, hanging our hats on this is going to, make or break, your week or your month. And with that said, be easy on the chasing. It's easy to get caught up. I know, when we had that one run with the college basketball and whatnot, we were caught. And, I think we learned from that. And ultimately, maybe going down a rough stretch was the best thing that happened to us, because we took a step back and, we didn't want to be gamblers anymore. We want to be handicappers. And the discipline is the first thing that you can do. It's the trait that it doesn't cost any money. You don't need to be good at picking a side or picking or reading or analytics. Just be disciplined, have some fun, and the rest should fall into place.
Yeah, for sure. One or two things I want to comment on too is just make sure you account for things that have already been accounted for by the market. I think a good example was last week in college football, Utah playing Florida. I think the line opened around 8.5 or 9. Cam Rising, the quarterback for Utah, was questionable or doubtful kind of since that line came out. The number dropped to 7-ish. And then once he was ruled out, the number got to around 4.5 or 5. Vegas knows, the sports book odds makers know. That number was already baked in. Florida did have a chance to kind of backdoor cover late, but Utah was the play and ended up being the right side. Another thing I want to call out is just that the NFL is an ever-changing league and quite dynamic. We maybe thought early on the season could have flipped by the midway point. So don't be stubborn and biased along the way. For example, the sports bettor in me wants to wager on Thursday Night Football with Lions Chiefs being the first game of the season. However, being based outside Detroit, I'm just not going to bet on any Detroit team. I feel like in my past, whenever I've bet for a Detroit team, it's gone against me. And when I've bet against a Detroit team, it's gone against me. So I'm staying away. I'm going to watch. Hopefully it's a good competitive game and the Lions can pull out a victory. But that's something that you want to stay away from, is just your emotional bias and making emotional bets.
Yeah, and I just want to come back to just exactly what you said. You're going to hear us talk a lot about analytics. That's where we find most of our success with our systems. You'll kind of see like how we handicap games. And again, we're going to run through the entire board, at least give you what we're looking at and what we're seeing. If we don't say that somebody might be hurt in a particular game, or the weather's going to be bad, or anything, somebody's got the flu, like, guys, it's already implied. Vegas knows. You don't know more than they do. If you don't think they know it's going to snow, like, what are we doing here? So you'll see us kind of go, use the information that they can't control. Because most of the time, just like you said, Drake, that's already baked in, and you got to look past that, because you're just going to be running in place if you think that you're going to outsmart them, just from a weather standpoint or injury standpoint.
Exactly. Yeah. And another thing I want to say is just when it comes to handicapping games, you might be able to find a trend that supports your side no matter what. And don't be naive to the other side. We're going to give our analytics, our sides that we like on games based on our reasoning. And by all means, if you disagree, like Brian said earlier, fade or tail as you see fit. We're out here to make some money for ourselves, be entertained. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So with that, I think we can wrap up for today's session. Looking forward to getting the next episode out for week 1 of NFL.
Yeah, so no plays today, but Christmas is coming, guys. We're gonna have some plays. We'll get into it later in the week, and we'll definitely give you more than enough time to get your wagers in and do your research. And hopefully this year the goals be up positive units, and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
All right, take care, Brian.
Take care, guys.